Good morning, Advantage members. What's going on? It's Wednesday, almost 8 a.m. on the East Coast, September 30th. Last day of the month, guys. Lots to look forward to. Let's get to the analysis. I'm going to start off with the altcoin updates area. As you can see in the position updates channel here under the Advantage Extras section, I've updated our positions as of current standing from this morning. Most of them are largely unmoved. I think sushi is down a little bit more as our position. Again, I'm trying to figure out a good exit strategy for these, or if the market could start showing strength in some of these, as well as Bitcoin. I think all these could pretty easily come up in less than a week. But here are the ones listed, Quark Chain down 26%, Qtum down 36%, Zcash down negative 37%, Sushi is down negative 53%, and then our Theta position is up 22%. Again, this also covers the positions that we closed as of September 15th, which were the Rune position, which we closed out at about plus 82%, Dot, which we closed out at plus 75%, and Link, which we got out of at a nominal loss of negative 11%. Okay, so far it relatively balances out, but I do think we're a bit more negative on the end of the month right here. We'll see how October goes, but I'm still looking to free these off my books by October time, maybe even November time if possible, if these do keep bleeding. But so far so good, right? This is going as per anticipation of how I'm expecting the year end to go. We have the final quarter coming up, and a lot's could happen. I expect volatility. You should expect volatility. There's not going to be any easy, cake, if you will. Okay. All right. So let's get to the analysis. Okay. So first things first, I mentioned yesterday that this hammer right here, this bullish pin bar looking candle, I stated that this was bullish. Okay. But if we get up here at around 10,815, we need to stay above here. Okay, we need to stay above here. Then if we did, we'd probably be, aiming towards the R1, or at least these key highs right here. And I think I had put up that update right in the Bitcoin analysis channel for Advantage members. Again, as you can see, as stated earlier, this was yesterday, right, when we broke up above that area. I stated that we've got to break above 815, the 10,815 SR level once more. If we hold above this area, we should be headed towards $11,050 to $11,130. Did not happen. Again, bears came out to play and then sent price down. Now, here's a couple different ways you could look at this positively, okay? First of all, these are on different exchanges even. These are slight higher lows right here that we're seeing. And on top of that, we are still respecting this weekly pivot. This is a weekly pivot level. Not only that, the candle spread that you're seeing right now, okay, as you can see, big candle, right? Whoops, let me stretch this out. Big candle, relatively decent volume. Smaller candle, higher volume, even tighter candle, and lesser volume. What does that mean? That means the selling is tightening up in this area, and there's probably not going to be a further continuation down. This might be the turnaround area where price is sort of rounding out like this, okay? It could make another, quick spike down here, but then maybe the candle reverses back up by the end of the 4-hour candle, okay? So that's something to keep an eye on. Again, it's stated that this trend line that you see, guys, okay, the one that comes from this key high, which is 12,050, to this lower high, which is around 11,150, you could see it's giving us a lot of trouble to the upside, but it's also kind of supporting us to the downside, okay? So I think this is the key area that the bulls and bears are trying to defend. This area right here. And on a horizontal basis, I think that's, right around 10,700, 10,750, maybe like even $100 range. So I think that's a solid area. If you want to go short, I think this is the best area. Anything above this right here, right? So anything above this area over here, that's a bonus for you to short. Again, that's if you believe that from here we're going to go straight down. Anything below this green line, so anything as price comes down here towards the pivot, it's a longing opportunity. You can long back towards this level, or you can long in anticipation of we're going to break through this level, aim towards our targets of R1 and quite possibly higher. That's how I would play it if you think, from the long and short standpoint. Within this garbage right here that's going on, I have no reason to play scalps. If you've noticed, after I got stopped out, I don't know, I think it was like this candle or something, somewhere down here. After I got stopped out, I haven't really touched scalps, right? Because it's too much. There's just too much noise, too much happening, externally, whether it's things happening on the stock market front, politically, stimulus bill, month end, quarterly end coming up. It's just too much happening, and I don't really want to play that. So sometimes it's best to just let the market figure its weird old self out, and then we make a decision based on a breakout, breakdown, maybe even structural issues that we're seeing in the market, and play it on that. But in any case, I think in this area, if I was a betting man, I still think, even though we've come to this pivot level multiple times, or rather close to it, and having not broken it at all, I think this is a better long than it is a short. Why? Because I still think that you have a structural support on a weekly, pivot level basis. You have a multi-week trend line support that you're seeing up here, right? This one right here. So I think those are reasons enough, in my opinion, to actually long this thing. And even this whole chop that you're seeing, it doesn't necessarily look bearish. I'm not saying it looks bullish, but if things are supposed to be bearish, like you start seeing, momentum down fast. Same thing to the upside. At least, if you start thinking that if things are supposed to be bullish, you're supposed to start seeing momentum to the upside fast. But the second, sort of step to that is, if you start seeing, say a big move like this one, right? And then you start seeing a big sideways consolidation where you haven't really, you did this consolidation right here, you haven't really seen a breakdown back into this big move that you've seen. Well, that to me is at least, temporarily bullish in this area, right? Again, context is what I mean, when I talk about bullishness, right? I'm not saying like bullish as in from here we have to go to 12,000. I'm saying bullish from the standpoint of we have levels above us which are fairly near to us, which can be targeted, versus to the downside at present moment looks a little bit iffy, right? I think there's a good amount of structural support in this area to think that, from here we're just going to slice straight down. Okay. So in any case, those are kind of my thoughts of how you could, or if you want to play it from the short or long standpoint, or like I said, it's okay to just stay out, right? Just forget about what the heck the market is doing. Ignore this noise and let the market figure itself out. Okay. All right. From the daily standpoint, again, we're kind of sitting on this S1. I would really like for this S1 to actually really push price up, propel price up. Not really the case so far, but like I said, going along with what we spoke about 4 hour, it's just all chop, guys. It's all noise. I told y'all last week and the week before, going into October, going into November, hell, probably going even into December, expect a lot of noise, a lot of chop, expect a lot of uncertainty. And if you start trying to scalp this market or sizing up too much, gosh, you're going to get one expensive lesson. And I don't want any of y'all to do that. So be very careful. Okay. There's too much happening externally that the market is going to try to factor in. From an algo standpoint, or even asset managers, they're going to start positioning themselves in many different ways to hedge their positions, to de-risk, to start ensuring that whatever happens in the market, whichever president, wins or does better on a debate basis, they're going to start moving around money in their portfolio. This is literally how it works, guys. And so you don't know how big money flows are going to be, spreading over the next several weeks. Okay. Here are my other views on the market. Okay, and these are a bit sort of out of the box. Maybe it might make you feel good, but let's check it out, right? Excuse me. All right. So, you know what? Let's go to a clean chart here. Let's go to Bybit. All right, and let's turn off this stuff and this stuff. Okay. So I think we can simply map this. Okay, so first of all, we already know that this area right here, up top, okay, this head and shoulders pattern played out. Okay, I don't need to keep hammering on that point. We broke down, retested it as resistant. Okay, done, right? That happened. Then what happened? Okay, thus far, here's what we've done over the last several weeks. Since basically the beginning of the month, here's what we've accomplished. Okay, I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to make a middle channel, and this is how we're going to look at it from a clean standpoint. We're going to ignore the stuff up here for now, and we're going to say, okay, structurally, how does this look? Well, it doesn't look like anything. There's a clear lack of direction, lots of choppiness. You could make the argument that for the most part, this is a pretty strong support. Okay, so we're going to mark that out as support. All right, so that is a very, very strong support because price refused to close in this area on a daily basis, and it sent price upward, down from the lows of 10,000 to about 11,100 and some change. So $1,000 move to the upside. So that means there's clear support down here, right? Even over here, you can see a wick right into this green support. Boom, nice. What candle was this? Low to high, that's a $600 to $700 candle, right? Okay, if we are to suppose that this is the breakdown and this is the key support found, well then this, after the support was found, this is the key resistance found. Okay, so the buyers are here, the sellers are here. That's it. This is the only thing that we've accomplished so far from a standpoint of looking at support and resistance. This is all we can do. Okay, so we know that we've now established a range. Anything that comes down here more than likely will probably get bid up, meaning people are going to step up to the plate and buy. Shit, I would too. Okay, if we could get up here, this is a good area, again, from a statistical standpoint, too short. Anything in the middle, even where we are right now, even if it's this EQ, untradeable. It is not tradable. Why? Here's why. You don't know from here, you don't know if from here we're going to break up or we're going to break down, right? I mean, and that's a pretty significant drop down from where we are right now, 10,700. The first level of support, or the first zone of the support, is at least $10,100. If you can stomach a $600 drop in your short position, kudos, right? You can do it. If, say, from here, if you could stomach a $600 drop in your long position, kudos. If, say, from here we go up, right, and you are in a short position, right, from here at the very least 10,700 back towards 11.1, I guess, that's a $500-600 movement to the upside. If you can stomach a $600 movement in the opposite side of your position, again, kudos to you. But why would you do that? There's no need to do that, right? Unless you're playing the scalps in here, in this range, by the way, there's no need to be in a position right now because Bitcoin hasn't given you anything. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's actually trying to figure itself out. So you trying to pick at it and say that the direction it's going to go, it's kind of meaningless right now, right? The odds are literally not even in your favor because the odds are completely off bounds right now. There's so many things at play, like I said, regarding portfolio rotation, end of the month, end of the quarter coming up, right? All kinds of stuff going on. So it's best, in my opinion, to stay outside this area. However, if you get up here, statistical odds are that you should be shorting. If you get down here, statistical odds are that you should be longing. Okay, those are the simplest ways you should play it. Now, here's what I think will probably happen. Okay, this thing is going to push up, probably take out this high. Okay, why? Because that's what Bitcoin does, right? It chops up liquidity on both sides. All right, it's a very liquidity driven or attacking asset because there's not a constant stream of money in spot, which ultimately drives price. So if there's not a constant stream of money that drives price, well, then what do? Well, then you use derivatives to quote unquote manipulate the market into forcing it into the direction that you want to go. So what big players will try to do is they'll realize, oh, wait a second, above this high, holy crap, there's probably a ton of short stops. So they'll drive the price up here, make it chop around up here, make you think that we broke out, and then dump. Okay, I'm fairly confident that something like that will happen. Not like I said, but I'm sure that something is going to come up here and we're not going to get the range breakout, but most people will get trapped up here thinking we have, because they're not paying attention to this horizontal range. They'll get trapped and then they'll get sent down. They'll think that from here we're going to bounce up, but more than likely Bitcoin will probably go down further. Because remember, when it comes to price, when it comes to big players playing the market, okay, they're looking at broader context, lots of volume, lots of liquidity available. They don't play from here to here, sorry, they don't play from here to here or from there to there. They're looking at big moves where there's a lot more money. It's not about the size of the move, right? It's really about, can they get out of $50 million, $100 million positions without having too much noticeable impact on the market. And the way you do that is a couple of ways. You get a feeding frenzy to join in with you as the market pushes up. As you squeeze out these positions, then those same players who will push the market up, they will start going short in this area, have your buys, multiple short positions that got stopped out here, fill their short positions right here, and then they will ultimately send the price back down here. Okay, I've seen this time and time again, guys. This range bound stuff, it happens to destroy people. Everything that you think you will have made in this whole movement up, you'll lose it right here. Okay, it's happened a lot, and I don't want this to happen to you guys, so I'm going to do my best to help you guys protect your capital. And the way I think that's going to play out is, first of all, do not play this range. Don't play this garbage at all, unless you're scalping with something that you can afford to lose. Just don't touch it. Like I said, statistically, this area is probably best to short. Doesn't matter where the price goes, you think, right? Even if it gets up to 11.3, 11.4, you could start scaling into a short, because again, statistically, this area is probably to short more than it is to long. Okay, or you could simply just stay out, right? It's okay to just stay out if you think that this market is uncertain, because the other place you can start longing is if price gets above this area. This is the key lower high before we broke down, right? So you can say, all right, this is a no trade zone for me. I'm definitely not going to trade this range, but if I'm going to trade anything, I'm going to hope for at least a 2-day or 3-day hold above this area. And then when price starts pushing up or breaking out, I'll play it from this breakout to this level, and that's it. Or you could say, okay, I'm going to think this is probably going to be a deviation up here. Price doesn't look too strong. You can short that back down to this level. Okay, and same thing. Let's just say we break down from here down right here. Again, you can say you can long this area back up towards here. Okay, so this is how I personally think this range is going to play out, guys. Let's look at things from the ETH standpoint, because sometimes, as I've said, alts give you the, let me see here. Let me pull up a different chart over here. Okay, so alts sometimes give you an indication maybe from the standpoint of a leading indicator, if you will, that Bitcoin could be in trouble or Bitcoin is going to potentially start selling off based on what altcoins are doing. I think right now, I think all ETH is doing is literally the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, which is it's just moving sideways. In fact, it's slightly worse because it's right under this S1 level. Okay, so being under this S1 level doesn't really mean anything good is happening, right? And even I think from a Bitcoin standpoint, um, well, actually on Bitcoin we're above the S1, so structurally it's a little bit different. Okay, but in any case, all right, Ethereum is not giving you any indications of strength. So that means that I don't think Bitcoin will either. I think when ETH starts to show you some upside, right, when it starts leading the market, say up or down, you should be worried about Bitcoin because more than likely Bitcoin will follow. Again, there might be days where it doesn't, but your odds are that more than likely Bitcoin will probably follow ETH. Why? Because ETH, Link, DOT, Litecoin, all these different assets, they're higher beta assets within the crypto space, meaning they're relatively higher risk. So if a higher risk asset, let's just say, is getting sold off, that means the market itself is anticipating that there's something shaky to be coming into the overall crypto market. What I mean by that is if Ethereum, let's just say, right now, it literally dumps, $5, $10 from here. Well, that doesn't mean that this is only Ethereum isolated. Yeah, it might be, maybe because some one-off event that's happening as a hack or something, but more than likely, some of those money flows, some of those algos trigger the other algos in Bitcoin as well. Same thing with Link. I've noticed this for the past several months. So I'm not just saying this on a whim, guys. I've literally watched this market, more times and days than most people ever have. Okay. And these are the things that I notice. Okay. So in this particular instance, if Ethereum starts to break down or even starts to break up, I think the chances are pretty high that Bitcoin is going to do the same. And sometimes it's 30 seconds apart, sometimes it's a couple of minutes apart, but that lag, if you are able to catch that lag, gosh, there's so much money to be made, folks. There's so much money to be made. And I've done this several times. In the Advantage community, we've triggered ETH trades when Bitcoin started moving because ETH was lagging and we made money off of ETH. When ETH started moving, we said, okay, we missed the boat on ETH, but what about Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin was not moving yet, so we jumped into Bitcoin trade. So it's been numerous times that we've done this, and I'm glad we've been able to catch this correlation, so I hope this helps. Link, same thing. I think Link is doing the same thing as Bitcoin is, which is very uncertain, right? If anything, Link kind of broke down a little bit more. If, say, ETH starts breaking down, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin is going to follow too, okay? Link is not a surprise though, right? This ascending trend line that you see, all we really did was we put in this massive candle, everybody got bullish up here, and it started to roll over. This is literally happens day in and day out, multiple assets, in any different time of the day or year or different asset class. It's time and time again, guys. Get aggressively sold, trap people at the bottom to short, spike up a whole lot, then trap people up here. But you didn't really change anything up here. Okay, from a technical standpoint, all you did was hit a trend line that you broke out of, tested it as resistance. Now the rollover might start. Okay, and if the rollover starts, as I stated to the Advantage members, the first big target that I'm still looking forward to is this $6.93, $7 level. If we break that, more than likely it's probably going to be $4.50 or $5. And the reason I say that is because I've seen this again in the FX markets and the equities markets. It's clear as day sometimes, okay? And I'll show you all real quick. What I do is after some big parabolic movements like this, you go on the monthly chart and you start mapping out what were the last months where we saw big parabolic movements. Okay, well, that's this one right here. Probably this one too. So then what happens? Well, if this is the big parabolic candle, what you do is, or rather what the market tries to do, is it forces people into capitulating right at the monthly low, meaning every person every single person who bought into August in Link is going to get wiped out or stopped out, because that's the monthly low right there. Okay. Everybody who bought right here, they're thinking, all right, this is too much pain for me. This thing has gone and, taken out all the gains from the monthly low. I'm out, right? And the candle does something like this, puts in maybe a hammer, and then, maybe the next month or two, it starts going back up. And when it starts going back up, it's not even necessary that it goes up to this high. It might just be a high and a lower high like that. Okay, so these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so the area to buy Link, it ain't here, it's down here. When price takes out this key low, which means it wipes out every single buyer from August. Okay, those are statistically the best ways to play the market. And if price breaks down even further, which I don't think it'll do on the first go, I don't think it's going to go like this straight down. Okay, even though I think Link will go down a lot more than people think, I don't think it's going to go straight down. I really think it might barely tap, $7 or something, and then start quickly moving away from it. So that's your, free trade or free analysis, if you will. Okay. Again, not investment advice, but that's how I would play it. The S&P 500. Okay. Let's see where we are, right, on the ES. I know it went down overnight. I checked it out this morning. Okay. So the ES, I don't think it did anything special. The debates, I watched them all last night. What a shit debate, to be honest. But it was like two old people, in a retirement home just screaming at each other about, who's going to get the tapioca pudding. That's what I felt. I think on the ES, all we really did was we tapped into this key SR level. So let's do that, right? Let's map this one out. All we did was tap into this key resistance level, come back to the previous support. So I don't think structurally we've done anything spectacular. I think we're, again, range bound in this little area right here. Chances are pretty high that we're probably going to go back towards the range high. May not be exact, but I think we'll go towards the range high. And we might do something like this, okay? Might do something like that, roll over, maybe do something like that, maybe break down here further, maybe break up here further. I don't know. I think October, like I said, very choppy, very hard to predict. But if I were looking at things from a technical standpoint, I think going into election time, I think markets are going to be range bound. So that goes along with our theory of what I stated earlier, which is this whole thing right here. Where did it go? Yeah, so this range bound thing, I think it'll probably last till November. Okay, that will last till November. I think this area right here, probably between, maybe this whole range, I think this might last till November too. I honestly think so. I don't really see markets breaking out or breaking down significantly anytime soon. But again, surprise me, I guess, right? Anything can happen, but I just figure that the election time is very uncertain. Both candidates haven't truly messed up yet. One candidate does not have the upper hand. So I think markets, because of that uncertainty, I think they'll be range bound. Okay. When Bitcoin is range bound, though, here's the great thing. Alts get to party. Alts get to party. You guys know on the advantage side, right? This is our position right now that we took not several, but a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, we took it way the heck down here on this big breakout, and we're up almost, how much are we up? Oops, somewhere from here up here, we're up like 22% or something, okay? So I think it's a pretty solid movement that we've had in theta, and I'm expecting more upside. But obviously we're going to get some more choppiness. I don't expect this to be a smooth sailing ride. So we'll see, right? We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the next several days go. But I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Okay, but that's pretty much it, guys. Y'all take care. I hope this analysis was helpful. Cheers.